Good evening and welcome to the first meeting of the 46th session. I forgot what else I'm supposed to say. I now call this meeting to order. We will begin with the landing note. Oh, yeah. Notice that this meeting is being broadcast via Zoom and the recording will be available on YouTube. I think it's now for the landing note. The University of Maine recognizes that it is located on Marsh Island in the homeland of the Penobscot Nation, where issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot homeland is connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Passamaquoddy, Malapi, and Mi'kmaq, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. The university also recognizes that the Penobscot Nation and the other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal, and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination. The clerk will now call the roll. You can skip this part.
Okay, let's skip some minutes. Okay.
There's no sense.
So, all right, Egan Tripp,
Here.
Memphis Peterson,
Here.
Oliver Waugh,
Here.
Dylan Lehman,
Here.
Mandel and I, here, Elizabeth Oldfield, here, Abby Downer, here, Zoe Stankovic, here, Olivia Burton, Riley Knowles,
Here.
Dylan DeMarco,
Here.
Jonathan Harper,
Here.
Lauren Depot, here, Zachary Robert,
Here.
John Guzman, Cass Pillay,
Here.
Hyder Mbaya,
Excuse.
Danny Tanaka, and Lori Spelko, here.
Thank you. If it's the pleasure of the Senate, we will move to approve the 12/10/2024 minutes and this agenda. Seeing nothing for general good and welfare, we will move into new senators, officer appointments, and resignations. Will the following please rise?
Kyle Ricker, Cynthia Shelmerdine, Wilkie Warren, Nate Craig, William Thompson, Hayden Buswell, Maggie Johnson, Daniel Stanley, Joshua Baum, Juliana Dolan, Isabella Lamadrid, Taylor Stearns, Matthew Weber, Baston Harvey, Bo Minshew, Zachary Zellog, Ethan Brady, Hazel Sparks, Callum Bellat, Taylor Stanford, and Jeremy Olamore.
Thank you. Everyone, please raise your right hands and repeat after me.
Yeah.
And Darren Martin, please. And Pastor Cowan, I don't know what we're. If you were a senator last semester, you can assume that. Everyone raise your right hands and please repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear
That I will support and uphold.
that I will support and uphold
The Constitution of Student Government, Inc.
the Constitution of Student Government, Inc.
And all other rules and guidelines.
and all other rules and guidelines
To which I will be held.
to which I will be held.
Further, I swear.
Further, I swear
To well and faithfully discharge.
to well and faithfully discharge
The duties of the office.
the duties of the office
Upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter
While representing my constituency.
while representing my constituency
And the University of Maine.
and the University of Maine.
Congratulations. Now I am looking for a motion to approve the 12/10/2024 minutes in this. From concurrence.
Minutes,
By the way, around.
well, 10 minutes.
Just got that. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing a second, if that's the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Any discussion on the motion? Any debate on the motion? All those in favor? All opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that passes. President.
Point of order, since we're starting off, we only just approved the minutes, which means the agenda has been approved.
I heard somebody say.
No, you didn't.
I did. Senator Baum.
Move to approve this agenda.
Second.
If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. Any discussion, any debate? All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, we have now approved the agenda. Seeing nothing else in officer appointments or resignations, we will move into club maintenance. I would like to invite the birding club here for final recognition. Welcome.
Hello.
Go ahead and tell us about your club, your mission, your vision, and what you hope to achieve by being recognized by student government.
Well, we represent the UMaine Birding Club. We are a club that focuses on finding and celebrating birds and promoting a very welcoming birding community on campus. Our mission is two-pronged to learn and teach as many people about birds as possible, as well as welcome as many people as possible into the birding community. That's about it. Yeah. Oh, as far as why we want to be recognized, we think that official recognition as a club is an important part of like just any club on campus, especially one of our
Yeah.
size and with our mission.
Findability, I would say, long-term, keeping the club going long-term too, it helps with that, definitely if you look at previous case studies.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any questions for the speakers? Senator Tang?
How did growing your club go during your preliminary period?
It went very well. People seem to be very interested. We grew exponentially over the last 3 semesters. We have over 40 people a meeting generally every week. And at the beginning of the semester, we can expect over 60 people.
Thank you. Any other questions for the speakers? Senator Baum?
You see asking us for funding or anything in the future?
Perhaps. We have no current financial needs, but if we were to think about maybe going on like a big outing or a big trip that would require some significant amount of travel, likely within the state, we might seek funding, but not at this time.
Thank you. Representative Merchant?
I've been asked before, but favorite bird, is out of curiosity?
Last time I was here, I gave my answer of red-headed woodpecker. Those aren't really in Maine, so for Maine favorite bird, I'd say dovekie. Brandon, you want to take it?
I'll go with American Bittern, which is also known as the Thunder Bumper.
Senator Summerdown?
Do you guys have any planned events or outings?
As of now, we have not had an official officer meeting for the semester. But last semester we had 3 or 4 longer range field trips and bird walks almost every weekend. And so we intend to keep doing that. There's also talk of hosting a bird themed dance later in the semester.
Volunteer opportunities with Harundo, volunteer opportunities with Fields Pond Audubon Center, Warno Land Trust as well on the weekends.
Thank you. Any other questions for the speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
300 off path.
Senator Marcon?
I move to accept the committee's recommendations.
Second.
Hearing a second, if that's the pleasure of the Senate, so adopted. Any discussion on the motion? Any debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that passes. Congratulations and thanks for coming. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. You're welcome to go. Fill your people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seeing nothing else in club maintenance, nothing for club presentations and no guest speakers this week, we will move into executive reports, starting with the president of UMSG.
All right, guys, welcome back from break. It's exciting to see all of you. The unison swearing in was a little creepy, but it is exciting to have so many people right out the gate, and to continue to have that as we go into each semester. I have finished my duties on the Distinguished Maine Professor Selection Committee. This is kind of my housekeeping stuff from last semester. The student activity fee report has been uploaded to the website. And other reports, we're gonna be putting together a report kind of tab, and that's where I'm gonna be putting all of those things, so they'll be public for all students and the Senate to review. The SORP update, I'm working on updating the SORP. Vice President Peterson is working on the last 2 documents, I think, and then we have updated at least format and grammar of all of our documents except the Constitution. So that's a huge goal that should be completed as soon as we have a polypro. And this is kind of the first time they're hearing of it because we haven't had an exec meeting, but I'm expecting our executives to have our office hours in the chat by the next week, Senate. Over break, I continued my work on the commencement meeting. I have some updates I wanted to bring up. The Cross Center's ADA policy only allows one accompanying guest, which is different from previous graduations. This is the locations policy, but I thought this is just a notable change for the Alpine, and there's more information on the commencement website, which you can look up, and that has a lot of information. So if you are curious about what's going on with that, I would look into that. We're also considering reducing the number of speakers for the sake of time. It's a complaint that they've been hearing. And we're looking at which speakers and which speeches we want to keep. And myself, the GSG president, and the senior class president, Izzy, who are all committed to protecting, obviously, student speeches, but that doesn't seem to be the issue. And then moving into the syllabus bank report, I worked on it over break and it's done. I'm gonna be dropping it once we get a brand new Senate chat for you all to look at. I think we're gonna make a lot of really good progress on this. I have resolutions, I'll get into that in a second, but I have resolutions for an act to urge. It's pretty much all ready to go. And I think that this is a goal that we can also see accomplished by the end of the semester, at least in terms of getting it built and out there for the administration to kind of tackle on their end. Because an update on that, we used to, originally when we started this project, we were gonna house it in student government, but we're now working with the Associate Provost, Scott Marzilli, to house it in the Provost office, because I don't think it's a good idea. Student government doesn't need to be doing more than it needs to be doing. And with it being syllabus and needing to be updated all the time, I think it's important that the administration handles that. Town halls are being planned. I'm working on dates right now. The first one will be donuts or dinner with the deans. That'll be exciting. That'll be probably in this room. And those are those town halls I've been talking about for a while. I'll build onto that when we get there. And then new business, I'll be sitting on the provost search committee, which President Fernie Mundy officially asked me to join over for the break. As well as I think we need to begin discussions about the SAF and which raise we want to submit the $22 or the $11 to the student body. And I think that we should start doing 10-minute conversations per meeting starting next week about that. Again, I have all of those resolutions ready to go. So it's just a matter of coming to a conclusion. And we are coming up to a deadline, which is the end of February. And then finally, as I said, I've written and prepared a lot of resolutions over break. I am going to be kind of putting them in pretty quickly, and as soon as we have Polypro, and those are those big fiscal resolutions, the Modernization Act, which is basically bringing it up to speed and fixing all of the smaller policy issues that the financial policies currently have, and then a Responsibility Act that is in two parts. One being the sports club, the second being the cap on student entertainment. That way we can have a full conversation about both, and the Senate can make the decisions as sees fit. And that is the end of my report.
Next is my report. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a great winter break, and I hope you're all getting ready for an amazing spring semester. This semester, I want to make sure that I'm taking your evaluations that you submitted seriously, and by committing to a lot of those suggestions and ideas that you as the Senate gave to me. This includes enforcing the business casual dress code for all members of student government. Pretty much what that entails is I'll just keep going. Chairing the Senate in a fair, professional, and kind manner, keeping meetings on track and efficient, making sure that we're not repeating or going in circles, and ensuring that all members are fulfilling their requirements and obligations. Pretty much what this means is I really took to heart a lot of the ideas and suggestions and a lot of the messages that you all anonymously sent to the execs. So once committees and all the positions are elected and once requirements are all being filled, I'm really going to start cracking down on ensuring that our big Senate is full of student leaders that are really passionate and really want to represent our student body. And if that's something I'll happily elaborate on if anybody has any questions. The dress code, it pretty much entails if you walk in and you're not up to dress code, I just ask the sergeant at arms to excuse you. We're all busy, we're all young adults living life. If you can't comply with the dress code or can't make it work, just let me be. You're allowed to express yourself, especially as unfortunately, my efforts to have our Senate meetings take place in the Wells Conference Center fell apart very, very quickly due to the first come, first served policy, but a discussion is still possible for future booking. If anybody wants to have those next year, you can on that. President Tripp and I continue to work on reformatting and modernizing our governing docs. I am also still working on a new land acknowledgement for UMSG Inc. And I'm working on booking meetings with important leaders and experts on the matter. I'm also working on the policy and procedure for the project intake that Senator Chalmerdine brought to student government last semester. I've talked it over with our attorney, Sean, and there's still like quite a bit of ironing out to do to figure out how student government can really use this to its full potential for the betterment of the UMaine campus. Hopefully these policies are ironed out before next semester as the final calls for all the super big projects that most people don't have say in tend to be at the end of the fall semester, and I want student government to be able to jump on that. I'm also kind of another small project that I'm doing this semester is looking into a special collections that the library might have for UMSG Inc., just to kind of figure out what they have. And also potentially a personal UMSG library, because there's a couple bookshelves in our office that I think could be dedicated to literature that student leaders think are good for leadership, governance, business, social work, stuff like that. I imagine that it's kind of like the beating heart within the office, where whenever people like are looking for inspiration or guidance, they can just look at that bookshelf and see all the great work that can be done. I plan on calling it the Memphis Peterson Vice Presidential Library. And I'm also taking suggestions for guest speakers this semester. We obviously aren't having one tonight and probably won't next week. But once the Senate's pretty much up and rolling, I'll take any suggestions and I'll get that set up. End of reports. Next is the Vice President for Financial Affairs.
Perfect. Well, it's great to see you all again, and I'm trying to pick back up right where I left off earlier. So next week, I'll be coming with the financial timeline for all of our budgeting stuff and walk you through that. In addition to that, we'll also have some time to go over the audit reports for last year. If any of you guys want to look at those reports, you'll have an opportunity to actually look at the books. And then I'm gonna get meetings with both Kevin, who is handling the additional account, and see where the database is at that and what stage we're at in that kind of research. And additionally, I'm gonna go meet with Kelly's team, who they currently have our financial model, and hopefully get that back for the Senate meeting next week. So when we jump into those 10-minute discussion sessions, you'll have some tools to work with. Our starting amount unallocated is $56,203.22. And there was one transfer of $937.99 because the audit costed a little more than we thought. End report.
Thank you. Vice President of Student Organizations.
Hello, everyone. I am excited to be here working as the VP of Student Orgs. As you can tell, we already have the birding club come in for final recognition, and that went very well. I'm very happy about that. Planning on jumping right into things, working with President Tripp for club spotlights, actually doing them is a big goal of mine, and doing club visits, as well as getting into regular contact with our community associations and rec boards, making sure that everything is going well. I'm gonna start meeting with Colleen Fraser soon in CSI to make sure everything is ironed out, as well as working with VP Oldfield about the Divisional Leadership Conference for clubs. So lots of things coming ahead, just getting started. So kind of the work.
Thank you. Vice President of Student Entertainment.
Hello, everyone. We'll be making an announcement this week about the limited Louis tickets for this semester. Sean, after having issues with Adobe, finally got the contract for the spring semester artist to President Tripp. Budget Sudoku and I, so we'll be looking at this week as well. ABPSE Hall is also going to be working on a local band festival. And all of that is to say that if you want to join student entertainment, our committee meets Mondays 1 to 2. End of report.
Thank you. Vice President of Student Leadership.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the break and the holiday season. I'm excited to get back into this semester with all of you. I worked on a few things over break that you'll see in the next couple of weeks. First, I just want to let everyone know, brand new senators, today is your first meeting. I'll be reaching out to you for onboarding, and newer senators, if this is your first year, I'd also like to reach out and schedule a check-in. And of that idea, I'm going to be starting something a little new. This came from Senator Fang, and so we're gonna try Senate littles and bigs. And so if you would be interested in being paired with a new senator to kind of provide guidance for the first couple of meetings to them, let me know, because I'll be hunting down some bigs. And for littles, when we have our onboarding meetings, you'll be assigned in a pair. to work with if you have questions throughout meetings, just to help you get into the swing of things, because it can be a lot to take in all at once. I would also like everyone to know that I am planning on reaching out to the scholarship winners from the last semester, as it's not dispersed until this semester, which is why they haven't come in yet, but they will be coming in shortly in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be thanking them and providing them little certificates, as we did last year if you were here. And I would like to get SLC scheduled soon, so those of you that are still interested, I'm going to send out a message in the same chat from last semester. If you're not in that chat, but are interested in joining Student Leadership Committee, let me know and I can put you in the chat so we can pick a time to meet. And then I'm also going to drop the following information in the Senate chat. But the cover design for the yearbook is due the first week of February. So if you would like to submit a design for consideration, please get it to me by Monday, February 3rd. Again, I'll drop that in the chat so you can look back on it and don't have to remember the date. And then I would also like to be doing meet the execs in the newsletters this semester. So execs expect me to reach out about pictures and bios. And that is all for now.
Thank you. Advisor to student government.
Hi, everyone, welcome back. No report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speakers? Questions are open to non-members. Vice President Lean.
This one's for the vice president. In this library, will we make sure to include The Prince by Machiavelli?
I mean, it's a political thought, so yeah, maybe. If people donate it, they could. Senator Marcon.
This is a question for VP Peterson. Did you look into maybe doing our budget meeting in Wells?
That I did look into, that date was booked up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions for the speakers? Senator Weber?
VP Peterson, what is the attire we were talking about?
I like to think of it as if it's something you'd wear to the bank to ask for a loan or to a job interview, then it's probably acceptable here, so. Or also the other stipulation is if it has like UMSG imagery or it's just UMaine imagery in general, that works. So, any other questions from speakers?
What Kyle's wearing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Great.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I missed something in my report that's pretty important. I'm obligated to report to the Senate that I'm going to begin the hiring process for an executive assistant. As many of you know, Jeffrey Dyer is one of the main cogs in student government, but this is going to be his last semester working with us. And so he and I are going to be working really hard to find somebody who might live up to him. It's a super high bar, but I'm obligated to report that.
I also want to add to that, like he said, Jeff has been indispensable for student government. So if you haven't got a chance to go in and say hi and thank you, I encourage you to do so before the end of the semester. So that's it.
Any other questions from the speakers? Seeing none, we'll move into periodic reports, starting with the Board of Trustees student representative. Does anybody have that report?
Yes. All will be revealed when I read this. Hi, everyone. I hope you had a restful winter break. I have a lab this semester from 5 to 9 on Tuesdays, and so I will not be able to attend Senate for the majority of the semester. I am working with President Tripp on the best plan for giving my reports and will still be fulfilling all my other duties as BOT rep. For my regular report, there was a BOT meeting in January. I was away and did not attend in person, but I did watch the recording and I've uploaded my notes to the drive. During citizen comment, it was, again, lots of discussions about the system's potential divestment from Israel. Chair Riley explained that the board will not be taking a position in respect for freedom of discourse on campuses and maintaining academic neutrality. There were varying responses supporting this position and asking for divestment among citizen comment, as well as concerns about anti-Semitism on campus. In motions, the previous discussed redline portions of the board policy manual discussing what free speech were passed. If you do not remember, there was a lot of contention about this in citizen comment at the last meeting. My understanding after hearing the committee who redlined the policies is that this does not limit free speech. It is meant to broaden students' free speech and maintain system level academic neutrality. There was confirmation of the UMaine system honorary degree program, collective bargaining with faculty union was finalized. There was also a funding approval for Winter Farm upgrades and a land donation accepted to a land donation accepted for a piece of land in Old Town, and this is exciting, an approval for a new BA in criminal justice at our campus. And that is the end of her report.
I would have loved that 4 years ago. Next is the chair of the Fair Election Practices Commission.
Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be back with you all this semester. You'll probably be hearing a lot more from me. And I'm hoping that'll be a lot more interesting to everyone as we head into the executive elections and planning for inauguration for our new president and vice president. But that being said, I included my office hours. I thought I was supposed to, but they're Mondays and Fridays. Monday are from 9 to 11 and Fridays from 9 to 10. I haven't picked the time for FEPC to meet. It'll be during one of those times. But if you're really interested in being on FEPC and you have a preference, let me know. And don't feel shy to join FEPC if you feel it may be a conflict of interest, because there's still a lot of work that is outside of the interference with candidates, such as planning the food for the inauguration or working on the stickers and that kind of stuff. So if you are interested in joining, but you fear it's a conflict of interest, I'll find something for you to do, or I'll excuse you if I don't have something. And nomination packets are open for the executive elections. So Jeff, if you're interested, the deadline is on February 7th. So yeah, end of report.
Thank you. Director of Communications.
So I'm planning some projects for the semester and some different ways to include senators on Instagram, so reach out if you have any ideas. I'm also figuring out what my office hours are gonna be, and then once I know what everyone else's hours are gonna be, I'm gonna update the Instagram highlight. And I'm also going to be posting for BPSC Dylan about the movie tickets, and then ABPSC and I have been working on the some shirts for the Beat UNH game that's coming up.
Thank you. Director of Technology.
Howdy y'all. So hope you had a great winter break. I don't have much other than I uploaded your reports president trip. So it has the student activity fee and both spring surveys. So that's there under the government documents. There's a tab that says reports. Other than that, for any seniors, the application to apply for graduation is February 1st. So don't forget to do that. So yeah, end of report.
Thank you. That is all of the ex officio positions that are currently filled. Are there any questions for the speakers? Representative Merchant.
I do have information for GSG if that's applicable.
We'll save those for special orders. Any other questions from the speakers? Seeing none, there are no current standing or special committees, so we will move on to representative board reports, starting with commuter and non-traditional students.
Everyone, so I hope you all had a really good break because I had a little bit of a struggle, got sick and also was working. But myself and President LeBlanc were working as much as we can for the goals that we had set out for the semester. But we are still having just a couple of things that were left open-ended. One of them being the Constitution. We are still almost finished with it and should be turned in to the BPSO by next week. We also have a very full schedule for the entire semester of Can's events. But due to some miscommunication and just some dead ends with CNTSP, we're still ironing those out. So be on the lookout for those. And yeah, sorry, one more thing. We are also looking for any people to join for Can's leadership. We are hoping to look for off-campus or just non-traditional students to join just for helping out with events or planning events or just like joining leadership overall. So if you or someone you know is interested in joining CANS, please reach out to myself. And yeah, end of report.
Thank you. Does anybody have the Honors College Advisory Board?
Hello, playing double hats right now because Honors College is still without a representative, but we actually have applications now. That there was a point over the semester where we had no one interested, but now we have 2 people, so we're hoping that we will get that rolling and hopefully have a representative by next week, and we are currently trying to find a meeting time and a report.
Thank you. Interfraternity Council?
Yeah, so we're looking at Rush starting this Saturday. A lot of chapters have already started posting their schedules, and getting their events in and approved. And then so we can keep track of what they're doing. Our first combined IFC and Panhandle meeting is on February 5th. And then I just have like a little side note here. Brother of Sigep, recently got diagnosed with stage 3A cancer, and he has a GoFundMe link that has already gotten great traction, which is great to see, and I'd love to, if there's a way that I can push that along to more people, I would, so.
I'll talk to you during the process.
Sounds good. You can put it in the chat.
Yep. Thank you. Was that end of report?
Yeah, the report, yeah.
Thank you. Panhellenic Council?
Hi, everyone. Hope you had a good first day of classes. Panhandle is having an emergency meeting tomorrow to present and hopefully eventually pass the new bylaws. And the annual all executive meeting for Greek life is on Monday. End of report.
Thank you. Student Athletic Advisory Council?
No report.
Senior class?
Welcome back, and if you're a senior, welcome back to your last semester. Super exciting. The senior class council is working on finalizing details for a winter gala on February 7th, which is a Friday at the Buchanan Alumni House. So expect tickets to go on sale probably by the end of this week. And other than that, we have a lot of fundraisers, raffles, etc. in the works, so I'll be looking for that. We're still looking for a meeting time, so I'll share that once we get it. But other than that, good luck with your first period classes and report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speech? Senator Kearns?
I think with BTSO and that, is the Honors College representative, are they still taking applications?
Yes,
They are. Where do you send that to? And, like,
Me.
You, okay, email?
Yeah, as, point of information as the former president, that's my job. Even though I'm also the VP, so.
And like resume format? or-
Resume, cover.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we'll move into community association reports, starting with the Student Heritage Alliance Council.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So, over the winter break, I had a lot of meetings with, the Maine Business School. Talk about that planned event, for this upcoming semester, actually. And we kind of solidified on an idea, which you'll hear about very soon. Additionally, planning a couple other events. We're talking about that, the scheduling the first track meeting, which I will be sending out the email to, the presidents and their representatives by the end of this week, to solidify a schedule for next week. And then additionally, a lot of the presidents and my executive team are seniors, so definitely looking for replacements on the SHAG board. So that's going to be a big project this semester for us. And report.
Thank you. Wildstein?
Our meeting time is staying the same for this semester, which is Fridays from 3 to 4 p.m. Having our first meeting this Friday and report.
International Student Association, does anybody have that report?
Yeah, so essentially, our first meetings can be on same time as ever, 4 p.m. on Fridays. We're having pizza because it's a very busy week. We're all going into our own things, so we just have a nice quick little thing. Dance Fest is also happening. Remember, February 22nd, we have 14 performances, last time I checked. Ireland, China, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Scotland, which is insert shameless plug later on. And report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speakers? Senator Bone?
For the ISA speaker, do you know if they're gonna be coming and asking for funding for costumes again?
I'm not really I'll have no comment on that because I don't know, we haven't had our executive meeting yet. But as far as I know, we probably should. If we have an answer, we'll have an answer by a couple of weeks, I think. But again, don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Any other questions for the speakers? Seeing none, if it is the pleasure of the Senate, we will enter our 5-minute recess. And we will reconvene at 6:42. That's about it. Any discussion on the motion? Any debate on it? Vice President Lehman?
I fully support this.
Any other debate on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that passes.
What did you just say? Okay, I thought you said.
Cool. The Student Entertainment Committee is now line item 21 under nominations. So how we're gonna do this is we skipped over all of the other reports because technically those positions are vacant. We're now going to go down this list and anybody, preferably the previous holder of the seat or ex officio position. I can do like a 30-second spiel on what this position is, what the resources you should be in touch with, the requirements essentially. And then we will enter a period for nominations. What that entails is if you are a senator or an executive, and a representative, you can raise your hand and then say, I'd like to nominate blank, blank for faculty senate student representative. Somebody then has to second it. It has to be a senator who seconds it, and then we take down their name and then they're officially a nominee for that position. We're gonna go down that list and collect all the nominees and then go through the rest of the meeting. And then next week, we'll do another round of nominations. Then everybody will be able to give a platform speech on why they want or why they deserve that position, and then your peers will vote. Any other questions before we go down the list? Under time?
Are you gonna specify which positions representatives are eligible for?
Yes, I will. So it's weird because representatives can nominate people and they can be nominated for ex officio positions, not Senate committee chairs or Senate committee positions. They can make nominations, they can accept some nominations. That's the other thing is when somebody nominates you, a senator seconds that, you have to say either I accept the nomination or I respectfully decline. Any other questions? I know that. Senator.
I missed it, but did you say that, did you tell everyone that if you nominate someone who's not here, they automatically accept?
That's a great point.
If somebody is not here and they're not a senator, because they weren't sworn in, can they hold positions?
Depends on what that position is. If it's a committee chairship or a membership, they must be a senator. If they're somebody in ex officio positions, those technically can be held by committee. But that's a big thing works, so. Okay, not anyone, it can be held by, if you can't nominate execs for any of these positions because we're already ex officio members. But like I said, that's the beauty of political science's interpretation, so. Any other questions before we go down this list? Seeing none, we'll start with faculty senate student representative. Our previous representative couldn't make it tonight, so I'll do my best to describe this. Just like students and graduate students have their own student senate, so does the faculty, where they pretty much do a lot of what we do. They discuss, they debate, they decide what resolutions to pass. And it's pretty much the responsibility of a student rep to sit and watch those meetings and relay any important information or insights back to your fellow student leaders. Does anybody want to add to that or any other, I missed anything? President Grip?
I don't have anything to add specifically to the the job inherently, but this will be a position that will be working very closely with soon for the syllabus bank. So be excited about that if you're gonna get this position.
Yes, lots of changes are happening in the world of the University of Maine, so I assume that there's going to be a lot of really valuable knowledge and insight coming from the faculty. The faculty senate meets once every 2 weeks, I believe, on Wednesdays in Wells Conference Center. I don't know that specific time. It's early afternoon. So Wednesday early afternoon is which President Tripp is looking into. So we will
4:30 on Wednesdays.
Excellent. So this is one of the ex officio positions that can technically be held by any undergraduate student that's not an executive. But let's not open that can of worms, please. So any nominations? Senator Rickard?
I nominate Senator Google.
Excellent. Before we go any further, let me get a piece of paper.
I have it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Senator DeLorme for Senate. Any other nominations? Representative Demerchant?
I'd like to nominate Senator Jolin.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Keep in mind, you can also nominate yourself, but a senator still has to second it and you still have to accept. And keep in mind, you also have all of next week's round of nominations as well, so this is not the end all. Next week, you'll also be giving platform speeches, so just keep that. Senator Lippert?
I have a question, point of information. Will the platform speeches be counted 30 seconds?
Probably in a minute. Any other nominations? Seeing none, we will then move on to the representative to the graduate student government. This is another ex officio that can be held by non-senators. Would somebody like to get yes?
Did you skip student legal representative?
Yes, I did. So we'll do student legal representative. Another ex officio position that can be held by non-senators. Would the previous shareholder like to elaborate?
Yeah, do you want me to just say what I did?
What you did, like what?
I met with Sean, our attorney, like weekly or bi-weekly, depending on our schedules, and he kind of shared with me things that he was working on and wanted me to share with student government. And then we also did like a lunch for student legal services to get students involved and aware of the services. And then any like big reports he worked on or big cases that he handled, we would talk about them, and then I would also share them with the rest of the students.
Okay. With that being said, are there any nominations? Senator Harvey?
I would like to nominate myself. Second.
You accept?
Yeah, I accept.
Any other nominations? Please remind me of your name.
Stand first.
Senator Stanton.
I'd like to nominate Senator Johnson.
Second. Any other nominations? Senator Fang.
I'd like to nominate Senator Stanford.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move on to the representative to the Graduate Student Senate. But you take it away.
Yeah, so essentially, much like the faculty student representative, you come into meetings and you just observe and take notes. As far as I know, like as per the onboarding from last time, some questions are available, but it is very much the hardline position to just sit and observe meetings. As far as I know, for GSG meetings for this semester, it's from 3 to 4 p.m. Same as last semester, and they meet bi-weekly. So the first meeting is the 31st of January, and then it'll be 2 weeks after that. There's another bit of information that I thought was pertinent, but if I remember it, I will say.
Any nominations, Senator Ricker?
Nominate Representative Motion.
I accept that. I respectfully accept.
Any other nominations? Senator. I'm Lomander.
I nominate, never mind.
Any other nominations? Representative Malaya?
I'd like to nominate Senator Cowan.
Second. I accept. Any other nominations? Senator Fang?
I can nominate Senator Harvey.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Ball.
Nominate Senator Ryan.
Second, I respectfully decline.
Vice President Wolffield.
I'd like to nominate Senator Kearns.
Second.
I respectfully decline. Thank you.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Orono Town Council liaison with the previous shareholder.
Okay, so, it's like, any other liaison position, you could, either go in person, which the people like to see the constituents in person. So, you could either go in person, or they usually have all their meetings and agendas and videos the day after. The Orono Town Council meets on the second and fourth Monday of each month unless otherwise stated. And this basically just take notes. Although the Orono Town Council liaison, I had a opportunity to sit on a special committee that hired the new Orono city manager or town manager. I can't remember his exact title, but that was last spring. And I stayed a week after. You might have another opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any nominations? Senator Schumerton?
I'd like to nominate Senator Martin.
Second. I graciously accept.
Thank you. Any other nominations? No? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to Old Town City Council liaison.
It is the same as my previous report.
Thank you. Are there any nominations? Representative Demerchant?
I would like to nominate Senator Martin.
Second, I will graciously accept.
Excellent. Any other nominees? Seeing none, we'll move on to the representative to the Military and Veterans Student Affairs.
So within this position, you'll be communicating with the different offices for veterans in NRTC and RTC on campus. And the biggest part of this role is that you'll be volunteering the weekend before Memorial Day with Mike Smart, who's the Orono Town Sexton, to help place the flags on veterans' tombstones.
That's all. Thank you. Are there any nominations? Senator Ricker?
I nominate Senator Schumerton.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move on to the University of Maine Security Representative.
Within this position, the major thing is that there are university security Zoom calls, one. The one for last semester did not happen, so it is scheduled for the 29th of this month. Also, you'll be responsible for communicating with UMPD and UVAC is kind of expected bi-weekly meetings. Their meetings this semester are on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. At the UVAC facilities.
Thank you. Are there any nominations? President Tripp?
I'd like to nominate Senator Schumerton.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Senator Fang?
I nominate Senator Long.
Second.
I respectfully.
Representative Demerchant?
I would like to nominate Senator Stanley.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Center for the Undergraduate Research Liaison.
In this position, you work with the Center for Undergraduate Research and you discuss, you attend their advisory committee meetings as well as the meetings for the student symposium, their executive committee meetings. You'll plan the student symposium and you just kind of keep tabs on Center for Undergraduate Research and any grants they're giving out, any work that's happening. They have a lot of professors on the committee that you're able to talk to, discuss, usually one from every college that we represent, just for the research side of things. And so you kind of tell the Senate anything that happens and their cities.
Do we have any nominations? Senator Harvey?
I have not. I'd like to nominate Senator Bone.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, that concludes our nominations for the ex officio positions for Student Government Inc. And with that being said, we will move into nominations for the chairs of our standing committees. And yes, so this is a position that can only be held by sitting senators. One of the things that I'll now delve into is, as senators, you do have obligations with your workload and your commitment to student government. What that is you can either not only attend student senate meetings and all that, but you also have to earn 2 points essentially. You can earn 2 points by chairing a committee, which there are several different options, with each of them having a lot of different influence and a lot of different resources. Or you can hold either an ex officio position or be an active member of a committee. And then there's also committees for each of the executives where senators are elected to those, and those also fill 2 points. Any questions on that before we go any further? Seeing none, we will start with membership.
So membership it's basically just the food, but the plan
if I was to keep doing it, I would like to schedule out everything ahead, for like a whole semester. Cause it can get difficult with working with classes and also trying to get people prepared, because a lot of places that if you're like doing catering and, especially at Wells, you have to do like 48 hours notice, so getting those orders in prior to, you kind of have to do it like 5 days ahead, because you can't do it on Monday and Saturday, Sunday is the weekend, so. It's mostly just working out logistics with Pam and figuring out that and trying to be creative.
Awesome, and just since I'm the vice president and I preside over the standing rules, I'm also gonna read out their descriptions within the standing rules. Under Rule 6, the committees of the Senate. This is pretty out of date. The thing about committee chairships is you do have a lot of influence over your own agendas and your own like goals and vision for that committee. But as it's written in the standing rules, the standing committee on Senate membership shall have jurisdiction over all issues surrounding the logistical matters of Senate meetings, such as catering and utensils. To include location, potentially refreshments, and the management of binders. There are Senate binders that we'll get into a little later. In addition, this committee shall be responsible for the education of new senators. Okay, this part's not relevant. Like I said, it's a little loud.
They're all wrong. You should fix that. Okay.
That being said, we will now enter a round for nominations for the chair of membership. Senator Rickard.
Nominate Senator Toulon.
Second.
Any other nominations? Senator Bloniger.
I nominate Senator Kearns. I accept.
Excellent. Senator Rickard.
Nominate Senator Webber.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Fang.
I respectfully decline. Any other nominations? You can nominate yourself. Being none, we will move on to the Standing Committee of Policy and Procedure. So I'll elaborate on this one a little bit as a former polypro chair. The Policy and Procedure Committee shall have jurisdiction over all matters of the policies and procedures of UMSG, as well as over all relevant documents and matters regarding the University of Maine, the University of Maine system, and its policies regarding education of the undergraduate student body boards administration. So essentially what this is the rules committee, similar to what US Congress has, where any kind of internal policies and procedures need to go through. If somebody wanted to amend any kind of documents, it would have to go through policies and procedures. If anybody wanted to do a kind of resolution where it's an act to urge, there's a good chance that policy and procedure would be the jurisdiction over that. The Policy and Procedure Committee is also responsible for the executive evaluations that take place at the end of each semester, where essentially senators and reps evaluate and give feedback to the paid employees of student government. That's pretty much it, right? President Chris.
And I stress this every single time, but this committee could not be more important this semester. We're gonna have some major policy rolling through, and it's not gonna be just important to have a chair who's gonna be able to be on top of that, but also a committee that's going to be able to support them in that. So I highly, highly encourage, especially our new senators. This is polypro is my child. I love it so much. It's where I got my start, and it could also be where you get your start. So I encourage you, if you do not run for the chairship, to consider joining as well. That's it.
Excellent. Senator Martin.
I'd like to nominate Senator Colmore, my bad.
I accept.
Excellent. Any other nominations? Senator Harvey.
I would like to nominate myself.
Second.
I accept.
Excellent. Vice President Levesque.
I would like to nominate Senator Fang.
I accept.
Excellent. Senator Bone.
I'd like to nominate Senator Joe.
And then I'm out.
Sorry, I have them all. We're good.
You were saying?
Senator Joe.
Second.
Excellent. Representative Merchant.
I would like to nominate Senator Stanley.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Representative Belair.
Nominate Senator Cowan.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Senator Thompson.
I'd like to nominate Senator Rickard.
Second. Second.
Any other nominations? President Tripp.
I'd like to nominate Senator Shelmerdine. Second.
Any other nominations? Senator Harvey.
I'd like to nominate Senator DeLorme. Second. I respectfully.
Senator Harvey.
I would like to nominate Senator Weber.
Seconds. I respect you.
Senator Ricker.
I'd like to nominate Senator Feller. Yeah, Val.
So I heard a second.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, I highly advise all of you to look over the governing docs of student government. If you'd like access to those, there's a lot of printed copies in front of Jeff's desk from the student gov office, or send me an email and I'll hook you up as best I can. Or the vice president for student leadership, he'll also help you. President Tripp.
I would also say this looks like a pretty good committee if everybody regardless joins. That's all I'm gonna say.
So hearing no more nominees, we will move on to political activism. Pretty much how it's written here is the Standing Committee on Political Activism shall have jurisdiction over the education of the University of Maine undergraduate student body regarding political issues and the promotion of political involvement among the constituency in ways which are strictly nonpartisan. This is very important because the University of Maine Student Government Inc. is a nonprofit, which means that by federal law, it must remain nonpartisan or student government gets dissolved. So that doesn't mean that we can't be political. That doesn't mean that we can't uplift the thousands of voices here on this campus. And that's the main goal of what the political activism committee should be, is really bridging gaps between different political, I guess, clubs and communities here on campus, whether it be political parties, philosophies, ideologies. There's lots of good ground to cover, and this would be a great way for the student senate to really connect with those communities. So, do I have any questions? Senator Harvey.
Nominated.
Oh, go ahead.
Question. I'd like to nominate myself. Second. I accept.
Excellent. Senator Kearns.
I'd like to nominate Senator Fang.
Second.
I accept. Senator Ball.
I'd like to nominate Senator Crowley.
Second. I respectfully.
Senator McCollum.
I'd like to nominate Senator Feller.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Vice President Levesque.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Vice President Woolfield.
I would like to nominate Senator Stanley.
I accept. Any other nominations? Seeing none, we will move on to nominees for the Services Committee. No? Okay, so as somebody who's previously chaired the Services Committee, what this one entails is, where is it? Services shall have jurisdiction over all issues involving services provided to students by the University of Maine, including but not limited to parking, dining services, mailing, housing, and textbooks, but that actually means Fogler Library. Services, there's a gentleman who is the head of auxiliary services named Richard Young. He's a great guy. He's been super supportive of student government. Whoever chairs this committee, I highly advise getting in touch with him, and that's a great way to keep communication and really keep the student voice going up to maybe not decision makers, but other influential voices regarding things like campus living, campus life, infrastructure. There's lots and lots of ground to cover. This is another committee that even if you're not chairing it, you should still probably sit on the committee because every perspective is necessary. Any questions? Go.
I guess point of inquiry, is Senator Michaud still currently active or?
Yes, he just had it.
Okay, yeah.
Any nomination? Senator Thompson.
I nominate Senator Michaud. Second.
Given that he's not here, he accepts. President Tripp.
I nominate Senator Shelmerdine.
Second.
I accept.
Representative Alea.
I nominate Senator DeLorme.
Second.
I respectfully.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Fang.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Bone.
I nominate Senator Lavender.
Second.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Vlad.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Vice President Oldfield?
I nominate Senator Weber.
Second.
I respect you. Any other nominations? Seeing none, we will move into nominations for the Academic Affairs Standing Committee. Would the previous chair like to elaborate?
Yeah, this is one of the younger committees, so it still has a lot of flexibility in terms of kind of carving out the path for it, but there's two main roles. The first is that you get to meet with Scott Marzilli, the associate provost, and talk about academic affairs with you, so you're kind of like the senator who has the authority on what that. And you also have a committee, and it's a public committee, which means people outside of Student Gov can come and talk to you and other senators about academic issues, and then you get to report those back to the provost. You can also pursue academic projects, initiatives, and kind of guide the role, how you think it should be guided.
Any questions or nominations? Senator Ricker?
Nominate Senator Thompson.
Second. I accept.
Any other nominations? Senator Lamadrid?
I nominate Senator Kearns.
Second.
Accept.
Any other nominations? Vice President Levesque?
Nominate Senator Colmore.
Second.
Accept.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we will then, that concludes nominations for the chairs of standing committees. Keep in mind, if you change your mind, you can still be nominated next week. So prepare those buttons. We will move into nominations for the chairs of special committees. The difference between standing and special is standing committees are like foundational, and they're spelled out in the Constitution as being actual institutional parts of student government. Special committees are special in that they're pretty much passed through polypro by a resolution to create this committee to address specific discussions and maybe even debates on campus. And yeah, so each one is super different. They all have their own jurisdiction. So we will move first to the Student Mental Health Committee. Would anybody like to elaborate on that one? Vice President Levesque?
So the Mental Health Committee, has seen a lot of stuff go through. Last semester, I kept talking about the comfort canines, with Sergeant Jamie Dover from UMPD. That is still ongoing, so that would most likely be a project you would keep working on, being sort of a voice for students and the concerns of mental health on college campuses, as that is a very big deal, especially in darker winter months. Being in contact with residence life, student life, counseling center, as many resources as you can, and having those connections. It's really something that you can choose how you want it to go, but I recommend having those big conversations and being part of the big projects on campus, because those projects need student voices. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Thank you. Another important tidbit about special committees is that a lot of chances, whenever you have business in a standing committee that seems to be taking up all of that committee's business, it can be delegated to a special committee. So mental health is under the Student Services, as the counseling center and health center are under services. The Food and Dining Affairs Committee, that's under also services, because dining halls are under auxiliary and facilities. So that's another purpose that they serve. So any questions or nominations? Senator Ricker?
Nominate Senator Callan.
Second.
I accept. Oh, and special committees, these three, according to the bills or resolutions, do not spell out that it has to be a senator chair. So it can actually be a representative or technically anybody not an exec. So just keep that in mind. Senator Weber?
Nominate Senator.
Second.
I graciously accept.
Any other nominations? Senator Fang?
I nominate Senator Stanford. Second.
I accept.
Senator Callan?
I nominate Senator Weber.
Second.
I understand. Senator Jones?
I nominate myself.
Second.
We accept.
Yes.
Senator Fang?
Point of inquiry,
Yes.
can special committees ever become standing committees?
If a new resolution is passed, and if the special committee is like really successful and it deserves to stand on its own two legs, then yes, potentially. Any other questions or nominations? Seeing none, we will move on to the Undergraduate Student Symposium Committee.
So this committee was one that I worked to help found last year. You try and work with the undergraduate student body as well as Cougar. You focus more specifically on the symposium itself. And your goal is to kind of get as much undergraduate representation for what the undergraduates want, whether from previous years or for this current year, and take into account what's been said about it, and you trying to implement it and recommend it.
Thank you. Any questions or nominations? Senator Bone?
I can nominate Senator Weber. Second.
Thanks. Any other nominations? Senator Fang?
We're going with Senator Bone.
Second. I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move on to nominations for the Food and Dining Affairs Committee. Would the previous chair explain this?
This is a special committee where you meet with the people from Sodexo and you try to make the food on campus better. And every once in a while you do something and it's really fulfilling. I, as much as I do it, I've had a lot of joy and fulfillment from doing this, and I highly encourage anyone interested or unsatisfied with the dining experience on campus to run for it.
Excellent, thanks. Any nominations, Senator Martin?
I'd like to nominate Senator Fay.
Second. Respectfully decline.
Representative Demerton?
I would like to nominate myself.
Second.
I graciously accept.
Senator Fang?
Like to nominate Senator Kearns.
Second.
I accept.
Excellent. Vice President Woodfield?
I'd like to nominate Senator Lodred.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Johnson?
I'd like to nominate Senator Cowell.
Second.
I accept. Director Mills?
I'd like to nominate Senator Harvey.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations?
I just have a question. Yeah, Representative Demerson and Senator Cowan, correct? And
Kearns.
I think there's somebody else.
Any other nominations? President Tripp?
I nominate Senator DeLorme.
I respectfully.
Senator Bone?
I nominate Senator Rickers.
Second.
I respectfully.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, that will conclude our nominations for the special committee chairs. These next two positions are not really ex officio positions, but they're also each worth 1 point in regards to Senate requirements. These are also positions that can only be held by senators. The President Pro Tempore, would somebody like to explain that one?
So traditionally at the Senate meetings, the Vice President is the chair of the meeting. They're the one who actually runs the meeting and sees it through to the agenda. However, that's not necessarily has to be the case. For instance, if the Vice President is absent, the Pro Tempore would step up and run the meeting. Additionally, if there's an incident such as the Vice President is proposing a bill through polycode, for instance, they have to present it, the Pro Tempore would take the chairship and run the meeting while the Vice President is running the meeting, or doing that. So, yeah.
Another thing is that I'm currently the chair. The next in line is the President Pro Tempore, and then following that are the chairships in the order of policy and procedure, membership, academic affairs, services, and then political activism. Senator McComb?
I'd like to nominate Senator Ricker.
Any other nominations? Senator Kearns?
I have to nominate Senator Fang.
Second.
I accept.
Senator Fang?
I'd like to nominate Senator Shelmerdine.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? You can nominate yourself. Seeing none,
I'll nominate Senator Jolin.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
any other nominations? Seeing none, we will move on to the nominations for Sergeant at Arms. What this role entails is what I explained with the membership of like setting up the meeting. That's actually the Sergeant at Arms role. They help me as the chair of the meeting set up like the podium, all the necessary documents. They put out all the tablecloths, the flags, they haul up from our conference chambers. They help membership with food and utensils. Also, if I, as the chair, deem it necessary and the Senate approves, the Sergeant at Arms is the one that escorts people out of the meetings or goes and fetches them if they've already been excused. They're pretty much the bailiff first meeting, so. Any questions or nominations? Senator Fang?
The Sergeant at Arms can also close windows and turn on ACs, which is really important.
Yes, whenever people make points of privilege, as Senator Fang has suggested, it would also, that hands of. President Trump.
I'd like to nominate Senator Cal.
Second.
Senator Ritter.
Let's nominate Senator Stanley.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Senator Weber.
Nominate myself.
Second.
Representative Merchant.
This is just to start off with a point of inquiry. Representatives can hold this position, yes, I heard?
Only senators.
No, they can. Representative.
Yeah, true. Never mind. It can't be represented.
Emergency tie, remember.
Senator Ritter.
I nominate Representative Valeo.
Oh, I respectfully decline.
Senator Fang.
Like nominate Senator DeLorme.
I respect it.
Senator Thompson.
I'd like to nominate Senator Bella.
Second.
Oh, sorry. I respect the decline.
Senator Lomader.
I nominate Senator Stanford.
Second.
I accept.
Senator Cowan.
I would like to rescind my nomination.
Any other nominations? Senator Lau.
I'd like to nominate Senator Jones.
Second.
Respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Representative Merchant.
I would like to, I'm so sorry. I would like to nominate, last name. Yes. Lovinger, yes, sorry.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I respectfully decline.
President Tripp.
Forgive me if this has already been done, but I nominate Senator Kratz.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Richard.
Let's nominate Senator Palmer.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, that can, Senator Richard.
Let's nominate myself.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Yes.
Yes. Good. The president be who's been nominated for this?
Yes. Senator Stanley, Senator Weber, and Senator Stanford, correct? Right, okay, great.
Any other nominations? Representative Bland.
I'd like to nominate Senator Michaud.
Second.
He's not here, he accepts. Any other nominations? Seeing none, that concludes the Senate positions. We will now move into a period of nominations for executive committee members. Now, these are 3 committees, where the first one is the Student Work Committee, and then the Executive Budgetary Committee, and then there is one sole elected seat on the Student Entertainment Committee. These are seats that can only be filled by senators. So we'll start with the Student Organizations Committee. Would the chair of that committee please describe?
So what you do is organizations, student orgs will come in for preliminary and final recognition. We'll vote on it, discussions, debates, but also it basically is the foundation for how we go about recognizing all of our student orgs and all of the decisions that come with student orgs and rep boards as well. It's deeply tied into EBC, but it's very much its own thing. And unless I'm missing something, I feel like that's.
When and where does?
What, oh, I don't, where, when will be Wednesdays? I don't know. Well, can I please hold and get back to you on that?
You let us know next week.
Yes.
Okay, great. Excellent. Or even earlier in the chat.
Probably tonight.
Perfect.
Another new addition to student orgs, I believe the president gave them jurisdiction over club storage.
Which is active.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Any other questions or nominations? How this is gonna work is each person may nominate one person at a time. There are 4 seats, but any senator who wants to be nominated can accept the nomination, and that's when it'll go to a vote next week. Senator Ritter.
Nominate Senator Bella.
Second.
Senator Lomager.
And I will let him nominate Senator Jones.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Representative Demerson?
I'd like to nominate Senator Stanley.
I accept.
1 second.
I get like so excited to nominate somebody and then I forget what I'm doing. Everyone.
At Stanley in terms, correct?
Thank God, I'm first, okay.
Representative Delay?
I'd like to nominate Senator Cowan.
Second.
I accept. Senator Black?
I'd like to nominate Senator Gillen.
Second.
Accept.
Senator Ricker?
I'd like to nominate. Sorry, I'd like to nominate Senator Fang.
Second.
You accept, Senator Fang?
Sorry, yeah, accept.
Vice President Goldfield?
I'd like to nominate Senator Levinred.
Second.
President Tripp?
I'd like to nominate Senator Ricker.
Second.
What time is the committee? We don't know. We don't know. Okay.
So we'll just, yeah,
I second.
okay.
Senator Fang?
Like to nominate Senator Thompson.
Second.
I accept.
Senator Martone?
I'd like to nominate Senator Stanford.
Second.
Any other nominations? Senator Bone?
Let's nominate Senator Dewan. Second. I respect it.
Any other nominations? President Tripp?
No, I wanted to go, I'm gonna go back through them at the end of this, that's all.
Oh, okay. Senator Stanley?
Point of privilege. I rescind my nomination.
And you can just say I rescind my nominations. Any other nominations? Seeing none, would the president, what's the number?
Senator Villatt, Senator Kern, Senator Cowan, Senator Jolin, Senator Fang, Senator Ricker, Senator Thompson, Senator Stanford. Good, great.
Double.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move into nominations for the Executive Budgetary Committee, with the Vice President for Financial Affairs, describe the committee.
So at UBC, you'll be able to see all the funding requests coming in the raw form. You'll be able to put your input on what should get passed or amended. Everything that UBC decides on comes to the Senate, and that's what you see basically as the results of UBC. UBC will be meeting on Friday from 2 to 4-ish, depending on how many requests we get. Yeah.
Any questions or nominations? Senator Martone, excuse me.
I'd like to nominate Senator Michelle. Second.
Seeing that he's not here, he accepts. This is another executive committee that can only be elected by senators, 4 senators. Senator Cowan?
I nominate Senator Bone.
Second. I accept.
Senator Fang?
I nominate Senator Cowan.
Second.
I accept.
Senator Ricker?
No.
Senator Dillon?
I nominate Senator Gillette.
Second.
I graciously accept.
Senator Weber?
Like to nominate myself.
Second.
Senator Ricker? President Tripp?
I'd like to nominate Senator Ricker.
Second.
I second.
Any other nominations? With the president, Senator Bone, sorry,
Senator Harvey.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
President Tripp?
I'd like to nominate Senator Shelmerdine.
Second.
I accept.
Would the president please leave the nominee list?
What?
Read the list.
Oh, I didn't leave, I was like, okay. Senator Michoud, Senator Bone, Senator Cowan, Senator Villatt, Senator Weber, Senator Ricker, Senator Shelmerdine.
Excellent. Any other nominations? Senator Cowan?
I nominate Senator Fang.
Second.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move on to nominations for the Student Entertainment Committee. Would the Vice President of Student Entertainment elaborate?
Yeah, so we meet Mondays 1 to 2. And essentially you are, well, I mean, you kind of work the same way as all the other senators where you just like give your input, but you, I guess, are like the leading senator and yeah, you just give your input on like student entertainment stuff. So like as we're dealing with the local bands concert, you can have a lot of input on that.
Excellent.
And backstage.
Oh, yeah, you get, if you work on a show or something, you get like a backstage pass with us, like meet artists and stuff.
Excellent. Any questions or nominations? Senator Fang?
Vice President Megan, you have to be elected to this position to have voting. What, you know what I mean?
Could be a part of SEC.
Good to get a vote on a CC.
Oh, no.
Any other questions or nominations? Senator Baum?
Nominate Senator Joel.
Senator Kearns.
I nominate Senator Penny.
I respectfully decline. Senator Martone.
I nominate Senator Harvey.
I accept. Senator Villat.
I nominate Senator Cowan.
I respectfully decline.
Any other nominations? Senator Ricker.
I nominate Senator Caldwell.
Second. I accept.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Villat.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Being that it's your committee, I'm not gonna let you nominate people.
What's this called? It's not in the minutes anywhere.
Have we been following that? Yes, we have.
No.
Okay. Senator Quinn. Nominate Senator Villat.
I accept.
Any other nominations? President Tripp.
Point of information for the Senate, raise your hand if you're currently not nominated for anything.
We know.
Okay.
President Tripp.
I nominate Senator Craddy.
Second.
You can step down next week.
Any other nominations? Senator Bone.
I nominate Senator Ledger.
Second. Any other nominations? Seeing none, that is all of our positions that are up for election. Each of you now have the next week to do research and really think of a vision and goals for each of these positions. Even if you're not trying to chair or sit in ex officio positions, it's still a great, you at least know who to network with and what committees to sit on based on your interest here as student leaders. Senator.
Will this sheet be available for us to view also, just like a refresher to all the stuff that we're not?
Wait, oh yeah, I'll drop it in the ballot. Yeah, good idea.
I was gonna say.
What? Well, I'm gonna drop it on the chat.
Well, like, the people who aren't here, you can like make the speeches.
That's the entire point. It's a surprise for next week.
Okay.
Anyway, that concludes new business. Seeing nothing under main motion, executive session, we will move into special orders and announcements. Any member of UMSG Inc. may address the General Student Senate for not more than 5 minutes. Vice President Ladar.
I have the time for WC. It's going to be 3 to 4 on Wednesday. But that affects your nomination. Do it that way, you know.
Thank you. Any other special orders and announcements? Senator Bone.
This last week, there were a couple meetings with Cougar and I have information about that. I'll just do it out now. The first one is that the head at Center for Undergraduate Research, Ali Mehdi, is stepping down and moving to the University of Wisconsin at the end of the semester. The rubric for the symposium is still going to be in development, as well as for Cougar fellowships. This year, there's no abstract numbers. They made deals with printing, and printing is going to be really easy. They've already, have it in place so that if you do print posters, it's going to be okay. They're also just going to give you your abstract number when you check in. And also they're trying to break silos as they've been putting it, where they're trying to have judges not only judge within their discipline, but have judges judge outside of the discipline, which should benefit the judges and the students as they get to talk with people who don't necessarily know and work on conveying information. They have 2 abstracts already submitted, 63 judges and only 2 volunteers. And so anybody here who knows somebody who needs volunteer hours or who would like to volunteer, I will send out a link in the chat for that, and they can sign up as soon as they would like. Also, they've been wishy-washy on whether they're going to do a keynote speaker or not in the past. That's official. They are going to do a keynote speaker. They just don't have anybody yet, and the due date is the 31st of January. So if you know anybody that you would like to be a keynote speaker at a symposium, whether it's faculty or somebody in the community, let me know, and I'll move that to Cougar. Yes, sponsorship is going very well. You're going to the career fair and like to talk to people, tell them they should sponsor the student symposium. And that is that.
Thank you. Any other special orders and announcements? Representative DeMerchant?
Yeah, so there's a good amount to say. Again, okay, so cans. I have my office hours finally. Last semester was just awful for getting hours, and I usually just had it all virtual and just the whole send me email policy. So On Wednesdays from 1 to 3, that is when I will be meeting, and on Fridays, I'll be around from like 9 to 11. Those are just like my working hours, just pending any changes, because I know classes are beginning to settle down for this week. But those are my hours for this week. I just like, yeah. GSG, I had tried reaching out to Derek DeMello, who is the current GSG liaison to our group, but for whatever reason, his email did not work through Gmail. I think I'm just chalking it up to the fact that there's technical difficulties, but he and I will be in contact very soon. We've, have that working relationship last semester, and we're hoping to continue it on this semester. And shameless plug. I am heading a dance festival for this semester for Scotland. I got 2 performances going. They're pretty easy. I mentioned it last semester. I'm gonna mention it this semester. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way of learning a cultural dance and also making new friends. Yeah, essentially that.
Thank you. Any other special orders and announcements? President Tripp?
A few things. Firstly, what I forgot to say in the report is that myself and DOC Downer will be working on getting up a post for club storage, because it is officially live and we do have the form and the infrastructure and the storage, and it's long overdue at this point, and I do apologize for it taking so much time, but it's done, so that's super exciting. And we'll be making sure that that is out to the student body as soon as we can. The other thing that I want to talk about was, oh gosh, no. Oh yes, okay, so the student activity fee report that we've had for a little bit. I hope you all maybe got a moment to review it over break. You don't have to. I hope you mostly took a break. But I would encourage you to review it again and to be really thinking about where you're standing on this issue, because we need to make a decision by our last meeting in February, which I believe is either the 21st or the 24th, if I remember the dates, some one of those two. And that's coming up soon. So just be thinking of that. The other thing is that I'm about to drop the Silvis Bank report into the chat. This is something that myself and Senator Thompson have been working on, and it's now complete. And this will be the document that I will be using and sending to the president, the provost office, the faculty senate, as well as GSG, because I would like them involved and potentially to co-sponsor our resolution, as it would be super helpful for grad students as well. I intend to go over that with you guys, but I don't want to go over it in detail and bore everybody like I did with the SAF, but the SAF was very, very, very important. And this is more for less for the review of the Senate, more so putting all the facts in a sheet so that we can share it. But if anybody would like to help with that as we move forward, I would encourage you to join the Academic Affairs the Academic Affairs Committee, because that will be where I will be working with. And that is it. Oh, and I'll be dropping again Grady from SIGEP. I'll be dropping that, and if you guys could share that, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Any other special orders and announcements? Senator Fang?
Not to discourage anyone who is interested in the FDA position, but apparently they can have Tropicana cranberry juice in Bears Den, but not in Wells 24, even though they have Tropicana orange juice in Wells 24. So I don't understand how the contracts work apparently, but just want to put that out there. You know what you've written up there now.
Thank you. Any other special orders and announcements? Vice President Lebec?
So this is for the Maine Day meal pack out, because even though I am not the representative, you're still gonna hear about it at some point or another. Because that's my job, but we are almost at our 50,000 meal goal. Which is crazy, because all of that fundraising was done last semester. We're still doing more up until the big day at the end of April, which I hope everybody goes to, or at least tries to, because it is, admittedly, it is like Maine Day in spirit. So I know, but try and be there, please, for me, if anything.
Excellent. Any other special orders and announcements? Senator Cowan?
Like I mentioned last semester, the Take Back the Night event is going to be on April 11th at 5 p.m. on the Central Fogler Library as of right now. I know not a ton of people were interested in helping with planning, but I don't necessarily need you to help with planning. You can help in any way you'd like to, if that's just getting the word out when I start sending an annoying amount of flyers in our group chat, or if that's coming and speaking at the event. You don't necessarily have to be a survivor of sexual assault to speak at the event. You just have to be passionate about ending sexual assault and creating a supportive space for survivors of it.
Excellent, thank you. Vice President Woolfield.
So everyone just give Pam a shout out for working over break.
I have one last thing, which is my bad, but for my cabinet members or my normal cabinet members, first of all, I'll be putting through my cabinet nominations next week in terms of senators, but I'll also be putting together next week a new Google chat or whatever, so that we can do another poll on when that can be on Wednesday, and hopefully it can be as late and as far away from 8 AM as possible. We got lucky last semester, so hopefully we can get lucky again.
The two senators that get nominated and appointed to cabinet, each of those seats is worth 1 point. Any other special orders and announcements?
It is both.
Yeah, that's all.
It counts for 2 points, Kevin, it does.
With my executive.
Any other special orders and announcements? Seeing none, I have one of my own. Does anybody know what time it is?
7:42.
Cool. Remember that time later in the semester when we want to ask repetitive questions, stuff like that. This is our goal. 1.5 to 2 hours. That's what you all asked of me to try to achieve. So let's keep trying to do that. Any other special orders and announcements? Seeing none, the clerk will call the.
Kyle Ricker. Cynthia Shelburne. Here. Ezekiel DeLorme.
Here.
Nick Fang. Here. Jordan Thompson. Hayden Buzzell. Maggie Johnson. Here. Casper Powell.
Here.
Daniel Stanley.
Here.
Josh Bluebell.
Here.
Bella Lundgren. Here. Bill Kurtz. Here. Matthew Weber.
Here.
Vassar Harvey. Bill Mishu. Zachary Zellog. Ethan Grady.
Here.
Hazel Sparks.
Execute.
Helen Belloc.
Here.
Taylor Stanford. Here. Jeremy Collmore.
Here.
Keegan Tripp.
Here.
Memphis Peterson.
Here.
Oliver Waugh.
Here.
Bill Newman.
Here.
Renee Levesque. Here. Elizabeth Oldfield. Here. Abby Downer. Here. Zoe Stankovitz. Here. Riley Mills.
Here.
Dylan Merchant.
Here.
Jonah Harper.
Yep.
Lauren Depot. Zachary Wentworth.
Here.
John Guzman.
Here.
Askalea.
Here.
Tyler Duncan.
Excuse.
Danny Tanaka.
Here.
Lawrence Delco.
Excuse. I'm now looking for a motion to adjourn. Senator Martin. I propose motion to adjourn. Second. If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. Thank you, guys.